Hey, everybody. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing
Good.
Gaming.
Gaming indeed, and we're about to be doing a fair little bit more. Today's adventure starts out with a group of 2-year-old halflings, each separated for a long time, but recently reconjoined, heading down a path in the woods nearby the great city pushed out into the wildlands. There's a light drizzle about as you walk between these somewhat dense trees and through the gentle brooks, but the two of you with your dog companion make good company for both each other and for the dog, as well as having a general laissez-faire nature about the entire threats abound. You feel relatively at ease and protected from the many dangers that may or may not be existing nearby. You have a bit of time to discuss with each other and give a little bit of presentation about the two of your characters right now. This is in Theater of the Mind Abstract.
So let me get this straight. We're out here doing some mapping and all that for the naturalists, right? Or did I completely mishear?
I'm sorry, is that directed at me or
Yeah.
Oh, something along those lines, yes. Yes, we had heard there's something out in these here woods.
As long as it's interesting, as long as there's some stuff there, I'm sure
I do certainly
everyone will
hope
get
so.
their money's worth.
Oh yeah.
What?
I do certainly hope so.
Yeah. How far out do you think it is?
From here, couldn't be more than 10 miles. Probably less than that. 3 miles.
You'd think if it's this close to the city, they would have found it by now.
You'd think so. But these
Eh.
woods are kind of scary. At least they say so.
It means we get paid instead of some other stiff.
We get to put our name on it.
Oh. That's 11 is out of the way. Come on, Missy. He calls the dog over.
Woof.
And
And you make your way down along the path that you heard those adventurers from the naturalists group talking about. Eventually, you find your way to a small clearing. There's a bit of a valley that leads down, traveling along through these woods. And you can start to see along as you get closer and push past some of the little bit of fog that the rain has, that there is some dark structures off in the bottom of this valley.
Oh, there, right there.
Yep.
Perfect. Hold on. How steep is this valley? Is it like a gradual valley?
It's a pretty gentle area. As far as like forested areas go, this is fairly tempered. It's probably like a 10 or 15 degree slope. It's not insubstantial, but it's not like it would be considered steep.
Okay. Perfect for sledding. If there weren't so many trees.
If there weren't so many trees, indeed. The tree coverage is still rather dense along the side of the hill, but it starts to mellow out as you get closer to the bottom.
The compass, it's in your pack, right?
Yes, right here.
We should write down the heading just to be safe, in case anyone wants to check our work.
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna take out
Yep.
quick pen and ink or quill and ink and just jot down our.
You make the necessary recordings.
How? This is all out in the open. It's a wonder that it hasn't. It's a wonder it hasn't been picked clean.
I'm sure that's not a problem.
Really
Maybe it's
is a
just
wonder.
new. Maybe it was recently uncovered.
Maybe. Just means there's more to find.
Absolutely. I'm gonna start scurrying my way down the hill towards the closest of these structures.
And
The
Barton will
leaves
follow.
rustle underneath, some of the twigs snap, and you've made your way to the bottom area, clearing your way out from the forest canopy to this strange structure with its series of rocks nearby. Three of the rocks have particularly distinct bright green carvings on them. They're not quite runes. It doesn't seem like it's a language, but they have a pattern to them that carries through from stone to stone and around the entire carving. The black structure is one which is filled with moss that has grown along it, most of which is a dark form with remnants of glass shattered nearby and many other components of the structure lost long ago to time.
No, this place has seen better days. Pretty fancy.
Yeah, absolutely. You said the glyphs were bright green?
Yes, bright green. They're not quite glowing. It's more matte. It's like a very pastel green. I mean, it's very much the one that is visually there. It doesn't emanate green out onto the nearby rock. It's almost like paint, but as you like get close and look at it, it looks like it's just a part of the rock, or the rock in those areas is just that color.
Oh, okay. And it's a carving, you said?
Yeah, it's slightly inlaid into the rock by about a third of an inch.
Could I take out a piece of charcoal and a paper and start taking a rubbing of it?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's a rather significant amount. There's, let's see, that's 2 meter at... That's about... It's give or take 600 square... No, not 600 square feet. 60 square feet of coverage for all of the markings. So you need a fair bit of paper. So
I do not think
you
I have
pick
that
a
much
few of the
paper.
ones that look most important and make a little bit of copies.
Now, have you seen any symbols like this before? I don't think I have.
I can't really say that I have. No.
How long have you been around here?
Couple months.
Couple months. Okay. Could I attempt to make some sort of check to attempt to see how old this site would be?
Sure. I'd say your character, you are planning on them being an archaeologist, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that just, since we're in the preludes, you succeed on your roll.
Okay.
You end up, your best estimate puts it at a fair bit ago. It's definitely pre-Empire and pre-Kingdoms. It's somewhere between the range of about 800 to like 1500 years ago, given how much of the stonework has been eroded. If it was in like any of the Empire's sort of environments, it may have been accelerated or decelerated, given that many of the weather events here would cause different forms of erosion. So you're giving it a pretty wide leeway on how much the wear and tear has taken it down.
No.
Yes.
I got a bit of an idea.
Oh,
I
okay.
got this scroll, comprehend languages. Could be useful if you want to see if that is actually writing or not.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Was a donation for the job.
Really? That's
Yeah.
interesting. Did they anticipate that we would need the ability to translate?
It's just, I mean, they're pretty simple spells. They tend to give out that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Magic, still so unfamiliar.
We're not great with it, but having a scroll or two helps.
All right, why don't you get started on that? I'm going to check out this glass that I see around here because that's interesting.
Yeah.
You said there was shattered glass, right?
Yep. Over here, this green up here. Uh-oh. Do you not have access to... Oh, there we go. Never mind. It is paused. That is why.
Pause.
Yeah, that would do it. All right.
As you go over, there is a small glass window that is long since shattered. It is surprising that it is still intact, given that much of the stone nearby has either fallen apart or been completely removed. And taking a small part of it and messing around with it, it's easily fractured all the same, but it's not very easily reduced to smaller and smaller sections. Each of the edges of the glass is very well worn and is not sharp. It's very rounded like sea glass.
And it's clear glass. It is not colored.
It is clear green.
Clear green. Okay, like a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
The section on these two tiles here is the visual representation of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Most of it is still within the window, but parts of it have been shattered and fallen to the ground.
I'd like to pick up a small piece of it and just keep it in my pocket for now. One of the non-sharp ones.
As you're over here, you're able to see that there's a fair bit of decorative inlay on much of the stonework at the base of this structure, as well as along the columns, which eventually leads up to ones that have a script upon them that you nor your companion are currently able to read along the entrance of this structure.
Ooh, Barton. I think we found a use for that scroll over here.
All right. I was just about to cast it. Give me one moment.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, he's kind of kicking himself about not being the one to start scooping up the glass. Alright, where is it? Barton starts scanning over where Tefrid is indicating.
All right. Are you the one who has cast the spell, or is he?
I still have the scroll. I have not cast it yet.
Okay.
I've only got an hour duration once I cast it. I want to make sure that it fucking counts. Alright. Once I use this, we'll only have... once one of us uses this, we'll only have about an hour. So, I guess the question is, you want to use it or should I?
That's a very good question. How many more of these small areas of ruins I know we said we went to the first one. How many more of these small structures are there around?
A lot of it is kind of just this, but more of the same. The stone circle, this is the only one. The black ruins here has a little bit more that seem to be part of the same structure. Maybe one of them is a different piece of housing that was at one point connected, but it's essentially just this in a square going to the north of here, with a few more bits of walls or central columns fallen.
I think now would be the best time to use it. If we can maneuver around here, I don't think there's too much more out here that we haven't seen yet.
Alright. Yeah. Go on ahead. Just gotta read from it, and bada bing, bada boom. You'll be able to read all that. I think. Unless it's one of those weird magic scripts that can't be read by anyone.
There's magic language too? I gotta learn more about this.
So I've heard. You can't trust all those kinds of rumors, but better safe than sorry. Come to think of it, maybe whoever told me that was just pulling my leg.
Well, only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Are you casting it?
I thought.
I hand him the scroll.
Oh, okay. I'm okay. All right.
Mhm.
I will cast the scroll then.
It takes a few moments, and the script at the entrance of this doorway begins to shift into words and letters that you are much more familiar with.
Whoa. Now that's nifty.
I will be
Yep.
sending it to you now.
Nothing else. I think that's one of the big perks of working for some mages.
Seems to be, yeah. Oh my gosh. This is the best. Oh, did they know how much stuff you could learn with? I can imagine they do. That's why they made the spell.
Huh?
Maybe I gotta look into this.
While Chefford's reading the script, Barton is going to quickly just sidle over to the side and pick up any spare pieces of glass that are on the ground.
Mhm.
In times of trial, balance be kept. In all things, harmony, and harmony in all things.
The dog woofs a few times.
Yeah. It sounds just like the stuff back in the city, yeah, Missy?
The dog looks a little anxious and is woofing a few more times and looking around.
Oh, is something wrong?
Barton is going to take his light crossbow off his back and scan around, trying to see what Missy is picked up on.
The ground beneath you for just a few moments begins to tremble ever so slightly. It's not like an earthquake, it's more like something has just fallen somewhere, and the pillar at the center cracks and cracks for a bit before everything around you begins to shift into these exceptionally strange colors as the bits of the rock that have shattered beneath there at the center of that stone reform and sort of start to twist, and energy comes from all of these rocks and pushes together, pulls together, and begins to form itself into something, a creature vaguely in the shape of a man, before just as soon as it had come, it vanishes, but the creature remains.
Barton, what was in that scroll you gave me? You saw that
just-
too?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I think that's what Missy picked up on. What the hell's just happened?
I don't. Hello, sir? Ma'am? Liege? I'm going to gesture with my hand. I am not approaching, but I'm gesturing with my hand to the figure.
Hey,
You
you
look at
friendly?
it, and it
Mhm.
gives you no response. It is unmoving. It is just barely getting to the point where it's starting to stand up with what looks vaguely like its shoulders starting to lift upright, but its head is still almost completely limp, just staring straight down at the ground. It is standing inert.
I'm gonna approach a little bit.
Hey, careful.
I'm okay. It could be friendly. It's not good to assume the worst in people. Hello? Did reading that get you over here? Get a little closer.
As you get closer, you see a little bit of a dim bit of light flow through. I guess those would be eyes, each upon its head, despite their misplaced in locations. They have a very, very gentle burn of light from deep within.
Barton, does the spell work for spoken word?
It should.
Should? Okay. Hell,
You look up at
It only
its
lets you understand.
you look up at its eyes and its head. It's a little under twice as tall as the each of you. Which most people are a little under twice as tall as each of you. So even for y'all, they're pretty tall.
mm. Is his neck still limp?
Yep.
Hello? I'm gonna stand under him and just look up in his holes.
The holes have a very slight reflection of the very, very gentle yellow light that is pouring out from it, but it's faint and flickering.
Are you hurt? Can we help you? Were you stuck in that rock? In times of trial, balance be kept. Do the symbols on each of the rocks either side of me, those do not appear to be changing into
Correct.
language, do they? Okay.
The only thing that appears to be different is that there's bits of it are actually do have a bit of a glowing light to them now that sort of shifts and travels along the path that is carved into each of the rocks, but it only ever follows one path and doesn't seem to repeat itself.
Hey, Barton.
Yeah.
It said balance must be kept. What if each of us go to one of these?
Maybe.
Maybe we can help this guy.
Your call. I think this might be getting a little bit above our pay grade. Maybe we should get back and bring someone along who knows a bit more about this kind of thing, but that's just me.
We'll just leave this thing out alone in the woods? What if he gets
We're not
hurt?
we're not that far from the city. We could bring someone over without too much time spent. Fine.
All right, I'm gonna try to touch it. I'm gonna put my hand on the rock. Barton, maybe you try too. Balance, right?
All right. And Barton kind of grudgingly shakes his head from side to side and touches that rock as well.
The light pulses, and as it travels along and gets to the point where it would pass under your hands, it instead moves around to go a different route around the rocks and leaves a very slight imprint of light green on your hands as you look at it afterwards. It's very slight, and it fades away after a few seconds.
Huh.
I'm gonna look at the rubbing I made earlier. Is that also glowing green now?
It is not.
Okay. Well, they can't seem to talk to us currently. And that.
Looks like it made a different path. Maybe we gotta.
A bit more of the creature has a little bit of some of the structure on its chest. Looks like knotted woodwork. There's parts of it that have different depth to them, and it like travels along one part that's particularly a deep groove, travels along down its arm and into its hands, where one hand is clenching something very tightly with nothing in it, and the other one is forming a small cup, like it was reaching out for something.
Oh, balance. We gotta give it something.
Uh, well, and
Hold on.
see that this. There's lots of trees around here. Barton is gonna try and just hack a small branch off of one of the trees real quick to bring over.
Yoink.
See if he'll hold on to this.
As you place it in the creature's hand, its eyes start to glow slightly brighter.
Huh.
Hmm.
I'll be damned.
It begins to lift up its head ever so slightly.
Oh, hello. Hey, can you talk now, or do we still need to help you out? Okay. Well, this changed something last time. What if we? What if we try to make if it went around, why don't we try to make like I'm gonna you know the dog shadow puppet? Like you can make with your hand?
Mhm.
I'm going to make one of those and put it on the rock.
No, me actually. Maybe if we I don't know, get all the lines to fill up. It was taking one route before, and we were able to get the light to change directions.
You know what? Barton, that's why they pay you the big bucks.
If only.
All right, I'm going to attempt Barton's idea. It seems like it is probably going to be a bit more fruitful than my shadow puppet idea.
Probably true. As you go along, you block it out. Some of the areas that are not completely illuminated, but simply only have grooves, end up getting redirected, and after about 20 or so minutes of time, you've successfully gotten it so every single bit of the carvings of each of the rocks is completely saturated with this green energy, which then begins pulsing gently from the bottom of these pillars, traveling up through the course of these, up to the center, into the tips of it, before each of them shoots a beam down at the twig, breaking it apart, and it falls to the ground nearby and begins to take the form of saplings, which very quickly grow into like two different saplings at the feet of the creature.
Whoa!
Barton kind of jumps back a bit.
Does the creature look like it's perked up anymore?
Are the beams of green light still there?
They were there for probably an eighth of a second. It was
Okay,
like a
okay.
laser beam, like pew.
Okay.
Like it shatters the twig in two, and each of the two halves of the twig, as they fall to the ground, sort of quickly shift into being a seed, then shift into being like growing roots that then, as it lands on the ground, like burrow into the ground and becomes these small saplings.
Barton holds up one of the chunks of sea glass. This mean anything to you? Kind of hold it up, like comparing it to the eye hole.
Oh, I've got one too. I'm gonna take my little chunk and hold it up to the other one.
Huh?
No, nothing.
Huh?
I wonder if it does that with everything. It just made 2 saplings out of the 1 twig, right?
One of the
Huh?
saplings begins to grow faster and faster and is starting to form a rather young tree nearby, but one that is nonetheless at about the point where it's a young seed for it, and it drops a acorn from it nearby.
Only one of the saplings is doing that?
Yep, the other one is growing as a completely different type of tree. A much slower ramping tree.
Huh.
I'm gonna say, this is getting kind of freaky for me.
The green lights on each of the pillars is starting to flicker, and the speed of the saplings growing is slowing down.
Oh, should we try to...
No, it only did that last time.
The
I don't want to
the
spend another.
open hand twitches ever so slightly, trying to grasp.
Harden basically jumps back 10 feet.
Are you hungry? I'm gonna take out my rations.
The other slower growing one, falls off a few different types of tree seeds.
So we have an acorn, and then what came off the other one?
Either like acorns or maple seeds, something like that.
Okay.
One of those sorts of seeds.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's not literally for an oak or a maple tree, because, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Balance must be kept. Okay.
Maybe
All right.
try hitting one of those acorns.
Barton, you're very smart. I'm gonna put the food away and take out the acorn and grab one of the acorns and give it to the creature.
You gently place palm to palm one of the acorns in the creature's hand. The lights on each of the 2 nearby pillars begins to flicker and wane and goes dark. The saplings have stopped growing, but they have not died. The eyes of the creature, however, begin to glow with a little bit of that light yellow, light green energy more as it begins to burn brighter and brighter until it's forming receptacles that look properly like eyes now.
Oh. Hello? Do you want more of the seeds? I'm gonna grab more of the. Oh wait, no, balance. I'm gonna grab one of the maple seeds and put it in his hand as well. The open palm.
Man, this
This is
weird security.
Is it security? Or is he trapped here? Does he need help?
The eyes of the creature blink once.
Wait, okay.
I didn't know it could do that.
That's new, yeah. Oh, wrong way. Is the other hand still just a clenched fist?
It loosens up. It looks down at the seeds in its hand and gently, not quite somberly, but cautiously takes a step off the small platform and starts looking around at the trees, at the birds, at the fog in the distance, at each of you, the dog, the stones all around, just like a young child out to play, but without any of the boundless energy, just simply the curiosity of seeing the entire world around it.
Hey, can you understand us?
At this point, it turns to what's his name again?
If you
Bart.
hover over it, it should show it.
Right. He turns to Barton, and the only thing you can hear is what sounds like scraping of gravel against heavier rock. But you
Tefrid,
don't know what it comes from.
Tefrid, on the other hand, hears something completely different. Give it-
No, he does he? Because I don't think he does.
He has comprehended languages right now.
Well, that's also the only thing he hears.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
My apologies.
He's not actually communicating language. He's just out here with his gravel.
hello? Are you hungry?
Again, you hear the scraping of rocks, almost like what an old secret passage opening up deep in a cave would sound like.
You know, I'm beginning to think this guy isn't guarding old treasure or anything like that.
Well, of course not. He was stuck in a rock.
Some ruins have weird golems that come from weird places, like in the middle of a wall.
Yeah, I've heard about those, the trapped areas. But this isn't. If this
Yeah.
was a trap, I feel like we would have died by now.
You know, that's a good point.
Like I have long since abandoned the idea of this being a trap.
Or this is a really weird trap.
He takes the branch that was broken off of the nearby tree and moves over and places it back at the trunk.
It gently begins to fuse back to the tree, and
Ah,
the tree is once again whole.
what's Missy's response to this thing? Is she
Misty
like nervous?
is loving it. They are right next to the creature, just like walking like an inch away from it, almost so much that you're a little bit jealous.
I'm assuming she's sniffing curiously as well.
Yes.
So this thing, I guess it's a. Are you a friend? You seem to be helping the forest around here.
More rumbling and scraping.
Okay.
Oh, it's definitely responding to us.
Yeah. All right. How about big boulder grumble for yes, gravelly stuff for no? Does that work?
Get the same sort of response that you've been getting.
Okay, so that's not helpful.
Can you stomp your right foot for yes and left for no?
It does not respond.
Hmm.
You know, do you think now would be a good time to get some folks back from the city? They might know how to talk to this thing better.
Maybe. I'm also wondering. Hold on. I'm gonna point towards the window, and bring out the bead of glass and put it in his hand. You fixed the tree. Can you fix anything?
It's It looks around for a moment and drops the glass, and then walks over to the stone inscribed with the shining green and places hand on it for a moment.
The green on the stone, what little bit is left, begins to concentrate, pooling from the tip of it, gently draining, not too dissimilar to, like, the opposite action that had been performed previously, and it begins to coalesce, draw, pull, closer to closer. It flows into the creature's hand, traveling along the gnarls in its wooden arm and traveling through almost like veins as it travels into the creature until the stone is left as nothing but gray.
What about the other one?
The other one is completely fine. At this point, when it speaks again, instead of getting scraping and rumbling, you actually get a clear response. Hello.
Oh, hi!
Hey,
Was that one both of them could understand?
Assuming comprehend languages is active on both of them, yeah.
It is not, it is only on
okay.
one of them. Alright, so Tefrid still hears like this sort of rumbling. It's a different kind of rumbling rather than being clanking of stone and gravel. It's more so one that's like a boulder rolling down a hill with like this rolling and rumbling. However, wrong way around. Barton hears that. Tefrid is actually able to hear hello.
Oh, hello. Barton, did you hear that?
No. It must be the scroll.
Gotcha. Magic's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Kind of is.
Who are you?
I don't know. I feel I've been asleep for a very long time.
Huh. Interesting. I think you appeared when I said something about, hold on, let me just wrote this down here. In times of trial, balance be kept. In all things, harmony, and harmony in all things. Does that mean anything to you? Harmony, balance?
Does not.
What's he saying?
He doesn't know who he is, or they don't know who they are, and they are not. None of the stuff on the text that we read means anything to it. Hey, so you just absorbed all that green light, right? Why?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It felt like instinct. I cannot explain it.
Well, it did say that balance must be kept. Here, if you can do that, maybe you should do the other one too. Maybe that'll help you remember.
I do not feel like I have memories.
You touch the other one, a similar story begins to go. This time, with your other arm, it gets filled with this ichor of green that leaves the stones beautifully ornate carvings but barren of energy nonetheless. You feel like you're much better now at not just absorbing and observing the world around you, but actually beginning to make patterns of things. You're able to not just see that something is traveling, but see that it's going somewhere, not just hear that words are being spoken, but learn what a language is. You've gained the ability to start to form patterns out of it, and as a result are able to start learning common and many other things.
Did that make you feel better?
Where are we?
Oh, what is our precise location again?
Well, you would say somewhere in the Wilderlands to the southeast of the great city. Southwest.
Somewhere in the wilderness, the southwest of the great city. About 6 miles out.
Do they know what a mile is? I know, weird question.
No, that's a very, very good question, actually. Distance, times of measurement change over or units of measurement change over time. How do you measure distance? That's probably not a helpful question either. Hmm.
It isn't capable of making facial expressions, but you sense that it is thinking.
I'm thinking.
I'm
Picturing that one GIF that was used ages ago that was like me at age 4 looking in the mirror becoming
Yes.
sentient.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's tight.
I'm not sure how I would measure distance.
all right. So you seem to be new at this whole kind of everything thing. So why don't we start with the very, very beginning? Do you have a name? Can't believe it took me so long to ask it that.
I don't believe I do.
Would you like one?
What is the purpose of a name?
It tells you who you are. It's your individuality. It lets other people identify you, pick you out from the crowd. For example, my name. So what you would call me is Tefrid Brandywood. And Barton, you can introduce yourself. I think he might understand you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Barton Tallyhawk.
It looks between both of you and then raises an arm, one of its arms, and looks at it from fingertip to shoulder. I feel I would stand out just fine without a name.
Yeah, but what if we need to get your attention? Or anyone does.
I understand.
And Tefrid, I just thought of something. You know
Oh,
how
yeah.
they always say don't give a fairy your name? Maybe not having a name to give in the first place isn't such a bad thing.
No, I don't see any fairies around here. Do you? But yeah, I see your point.
But
I see your point. At this point, I am going to come out of my kind of shell-shocked "what is going on" mode, and try to like comb through my memory of this region's history to kind of get a bearing on what this creature might be.
You know,
Ooh,
a little. You first.
I forgot to introduce the most important member of this little group here.
Oh, yeah.
This is Missy.
Oh,
And Barton pats the dog.
I feel as though I've seen something like Missy before, but I cannot say.
What am I saying?
I think he says he says he saw something like Missy before. Before when? Before you were in the rock?
I'm not sure.
there's a great deal of rumbling to the south. A large flock of birds begin to fly away from it. Something has disturbed them down there. There's sounds of a few different types of creatures screaming, and for all of you, it gives you a sense of danger that there is something bad down there that you should not have to deal with.
But tell you what, we should get out of here. We can bring you to some folks who might be able to help a bit.
Yeah,
But we really should get out of here.
Yeah, we'll bring you back to town. Maybe they can help you out. We'll take you to meet more people like us, and maybe more things like Missy.
He looks around in each direction. I do not wish to leave. I feel at ease in the forests. But
So is this? Oh, sorry. You continue.
if you believe that to be best, then
Do
I
you
will
know? Oh, sorry. He talks very slow.
oblige.
Do you know if you could defend yourself in case something bad came? Something dangerous? I'm gonna glance towards the clearing again, or to glance towards the south again.
You, as you're looking over, you see one of the birds that's flying away suddenly falls out of the sky and is a piece of rock as it lands, shattering on the ground.
I think that might be what's it called again? Barton being a ranger, could he try and comb his memories for weird monsters that could do something like that?
Pretty much any monster that has some sort of way to petrify something at range.
Okay, I did want the clarification on whether or not a rock hit the bird or the bird turned into a
The
rock.
bird turned
That's
into a rock
worse.
and fell and shattered.
That's
I
worse.
think that might be a basilisk, a cockatrice. I don't know what. I don't want to know.
Could it do that to us?
Probably.
All right, other way.
Here. Barton is gonna give the new friend his walking stick that he's been using for all the hiking and all that. Here, to help you move, and in case you need to defend yourself, just something that you. I'm sure you know how to use a stick.
As the bird hits the ground, whatever it is, it's completely ignoring you, and it walks over to the bird and kneels down and picks it up and studies it for a few seconds, then starts to dig a hole. Not a very big one, about one the size of a fist.
The two of you and Millie are starting to fear for the dangers of staying in this location.
Do we just leave the new friend? I don't want to leave our new friend.
I don't want to leave him either. I don't want this to be for nothing. I don't want a death on my shoulders.
He was like in a rock, and that thing's turning things into rocks. It's really like.
Yeah.
By the time you look back at it, it is buried what remains of the bird and has stood back up.
Why did you do that?
Because it is what is right to do.
New theory. Do you know what the word protect means?
It once again gives you that look like it's thinking, although you wouldn't know it.
You see a beam of blue and purple energy fly through the sky, narrowly missing some more birds as they fly away and hitting a nearby tree, which remains completely fine and does not change. Whatever it is, it's getting closer.
Okay.
Come on, we gotta move. Come on.
I gotta know the answer.
We can
I
get the
do
answer on
not
the way.
have an answer for you.
Okay. Well,
I will think it over.
okay. Please stay safe. We'll be back. We gotta go. Whatever
Did
that
you
thing
not
is.
want me following?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, you're fine. Right. Yes, no, come, please.
Yeah, take this
If
stick.
you insist.
It begins to hobble using the stick, making it at a speed that the two of you aren't super comfortable with, but it's better than staying still. You begin making your way through more of the forest, and you find your way to the midst of a small brook clearing with a series of similar, but much like a similar sort of rock, but in a very different formation on the other side. The creature is mostly to your southwest currently, and there's a great deal of tree coverage between you and them.
Okay. So the same rock is as in similar to the black. Oh wait, no, we have. Okay. How deep is the brook?
Not too deep. It's only like 2 or 3 feet. It's deepest, and it's gently slow, rather gently moving.
Okay.
Oh god, this thing's a death trap.
Oh, Barton, it's fine. Besides, is there a waterfall here? Like,
Yeah,
is this,
that's a waterfall, yeah.
All right. Barton, Archaeology 101. I'd like to check behind the waterfall.
You check behind the waterfall, and you find some really cool moss.
Oh!
It's a light green instead of a dark green.
Oh.
And it's fuzzy.
I think that might be more.
You know what? You might be right. I will leave the moss alone. It's safe back there. As long as no archaeologist of ill repute comes by and disturbs it.
Barton is going to try and make a long jump across the brook so he doesn't have to face the harrowing depths.
I mean, there's a bunch of rock stepping stones closer to the waterfall that you can balance your way across as you walk over.
No, but when am I ever going to get to use the long jump mechanics?
Very true, you jump.
My 8 strength decides to not use the long jump mechanic and instead hop across the stones. I'm there. All right. New friend. How do you deal with water?
How strong is the current?
Very gentle.
It kind of just starts walking straight through the brook, completely ignoring any of the rocks or anything in the way.
Barton, sometimes I forget the privileges of the tall.
I know, it's kind of disgusting sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I assume Missy is just paddled along without incident.
Indeed. As each of you finally end up passing this area here, has a boulder that ends up landing right next to it, as well as a voice coming from the bottom right side within these trees.
The tree directly to BBQ, your character is right, starts to move as it creaks and gets larger, turning, revealing a very large treant.
Oh,
You
shit.
are trespassing.
As it speaks and it moves its body, the bark begins to peel off ever so slightly, revealing a slightly shinier surface underneath.
You walk on lands not your own.
No, we're trying to get away from something.
Trying to escape a stone creature, turns things to stone. Got a bird earlier. Our friend here buried it. Oh, do you know our friend? Maybe you do. Maybe a nature spirit thing. Hi.
It kind of tilts its head and looks in. You run from the basilisks.
I thought it was Basilisk.
Yep, that's the one. That's
And
definitely the
you
one.
are not here to bring more people to take from the woods.
What? No.
What? No, we just explore. I just want to find new things. Like our friend.
It kind of creaks as its body turns, its head kind of tilting a little bit. It takes a couple steps forward and kind of gestures its hand very slowly towards the new friend, I should say. Come closer.
What are you?
I am a father, a protector.
What is a protector?
It kind of creaks as it slowly crouches down and looks at you. He doesn't answer the question, and instead, I have not seen something like you. You remind me of stones.
There's another beam that goes cratering over the forest, somewhat along the path of the river.
Can we have this conversation somewhere else?
It kind of slowly looks up. They will not be here for some time, but I understand. And it takes a very deep breath. Your haste.
Sorry for trespassing.
Yes, very sorry.
I hope things go well with the Basilisk. Hopefully, your nature, its nature. Hopefully, you all get along.
Yeah. Try not to become an exhibit here.
You will not escape them if they know you are here. two-legged ones have run from them before. I hope I do not regret this. As he sort of stands up all the way.
Oh, wow.
He's
You
about 5 times as tall as the each of you, if not 6.
will die
Uh-huh.
unless you come with me.
Yep, sounds good.
Sure, going with you sounds a lot better than dying.
Yeah, I like that. I like that quite a bit.
He creaks forward and starts moving. I will send message down the roots to distract them. You needn't move in haste, but it won't last for long. Come, as he starts walking.
Thanks.
Yep. Absolutely. Following along.
Yeah.
You
I
make
get what you're saying about the pay grade thing.
Yeah. This
The-
looks way above it.
Yep. I would say about 5 times up there above it.
Yeah.
Whoops. There we go. As it leads you into its den just barely to the north, it turns around and directs some of the nearby roots to grow around, and it begins to shift, covering the entrance so that the basilisks cannot enter.
You make them sound plural.
That's because they are plural.
That's worse.
Yeah.
Slowly moves forward, even slower than it normally was, now that it seems to apparently not be in the quote-unquote haste that it was.
Thanks for all that.
Yeah. I appreciate your assistance there. Do you have a name? Can we call you something?
It moves towards the center of the room and slowly turns around, kind of implanting itself in the middle of the room, almost like halfway looking like a tree again, but still identifiable as the Treant. If I had a name, in your tongue would be bitter trunk of mithril.
Bitter Trunk of Mithril. Do you have a nickname, or is that the full?
Call me as you will.
Okay, Bitter Trunk of Mithril.
Other small, upright ones have come through here before.
When?
Vague journeys. Not here specifically. I watch them as they travel the forest. I hear words of forests abroad, through the roots, tree to tree, rock to rock. Everywhere one of you goes, more come and take.
If it makes you feel any better, we're working on behalf of some druids.
Yeah. That's who hired us.
This lightens my concern. As he, any remaining tension that was in his body language kind of rests as he lightly bobs up and down for what looks to be breathing, although it's not clear if a treant would breathe.
Okay.
If it weren't for the fact that you knew that he was a treant, he once again looks like a tree.
So more of them can look like that. That's good to know. Bitter bark of mithril. Bitter trunk of mithril. I do have a question. Our friend here, he doesn't have a name, unfortunately. We found them in an older ruin, so two-leggers from anywhere between 800 and like 1400 years ago. I don't know if you count years like we do. Or summers, sorry, summers.
Not summers, even. Sorry. Important thing. High suns.
High sun, thank you.
Yep.
Mhm. High sun. About 1400 high suns at the maximum. It was this black building with a stone circle. That's where we found. I'm gonna pat our friend on the I guess hip. That's where we found. That's where we found this fella in a rock. I was hoping you might know a little bit more.
His voice booms through the cave, although if you weren't sure that the tree was him, it would sound almost directionless. I know the ruins you speak of. For as long as I have existed in this area, they have been there. You mentioned years, time. It has been many years. Thousands. 4, if I am precise.
4,000? I've never been that off. And they've been there that whole time?
Indeed. As long as I have been here. They were too. They are the only thing I can say with certainty in this forest that is older than I am.
Well, you know what they teach you. You trust your primary sources, but that just doesn't line up with what I saw. So it was. Have they changed it all?
Broken and ruined. As long as I am.
So it's almost as if they were in a state of stasis. And that circle was always there. No one else had ever tried to read that language before. And our friend here, I'm gonna call you friend, is that okay?
It will do.
Friend here, he was in the middle rock, and then we read the thing, and then he came out, and then we did some stuff with the green light, and he started coming to life more. He made some trees grow. He attached a branch back to a tree. Any of this sound familiar?
He starts moving again, right as you say he reattached a branch to a tree and kind of gets up a little bit, reforming back into his more identifiable state. You said he reattached a branch.
Yeah. We put a branch in his hand. It split off into 2 saplings, and then he reattached the branch to the tree that we got it from.
He slowly starts moving towards the left.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Mm-hmm. Ruins are a lot older than we thought.
That makes sense.
Older than this guy.
That makes sense. Not much of them left after all this time.
No, like I was off by a couple thousand years off. Like they've been like that since he was around. He's been around for 4,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. Man, this is my first job. Are they all this exciting? I hope not.
Ideally not.
What?
If the jobs are this
Is the
exciting, it means something's
job?
going wrong.
Oh, a job is like A thing that you do for fulfillment or money. Money is actually I won't teach you about that. You're pure. It's a purpose.
Purpose.
My purpose is to find all these old civilizations out in these woods and tell everyone else about them because we don't know anything about them. Barton, what's your purpose?
I find stuff. I find little trinkets, little artifacts, bits of information.
Yeah, that's our jobs.
I see.
Do you think you have a job? Or had one?
That I cannot say for certainty.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. We're patient. We got time. This guy's got a lot of time. Does that point to the to bitter trunk of mithril again?
He is at this point around the corner. He is too big to be completely invisible, but he you can see part of a branch, a bough sticking out to the side, but largely around the corner.
Each of you can move deeper into the cove if you wish.
Oh yes, sorry. I have been up and moving. I have been very engrossed in the conversation. Oh.
Me too, literally.
Yeah.
You look and you're able to see that the train over on the left side of the cave is looking very intently down that corridor before it begins to move closer to you once more.
As he turns back around, he puts one hand up. Unnamed one, come. He looks further. The two of you. He stops for a moment. 3 of you. You claim to serve druids.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barton's got most of the job descriptions. I was just along for the ride. We heard about the ruins out here.
How much do you know of my kind?
Me, I only know the basics. I know that you guys look like trees. You're kind of guardians of the woods, all that stuff.
In some ways, yes. I am not as simple as my cousins, though. I and others. He takes a much longer pause before he says others than I did. Are more than just Freyon. We are metal Treyons.
Oh,
As
of mithril.
He sort of lightly backs up, but not enough to really move his space, and gestures towards the area behind him. He is not fully blocking the corridor.
He's as a large creature, he's also one that's fairly top heavy. You can generally move through or around his legs without much concern, unless he's trying to trample you.
Yeah, especially since the two of us at least are small creatures.
Yeah, we are small.
Yes.
I'm sorry, did you gesture for us to come around the...
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I trust then you will now understand the trust I will give you. You come with an interesting being in the service of druids, so I will grant you takes a deep breath. Amnesty. These are my young ones, my saplings.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
One
Thank
has
you.
there's a gentle stream of sunlight breaking through the fog above that peers into this part of the cave in which the three of them rest. One of them is a golden sapling which shines beautifully in the sunlight. One of them is a cobalt one which absorbs a lot of the light and doesn't reflect much of anything, and one of them looks simply like a regular sapling. But it grows vigorously nonetheless.
Wow. Thank you for showing us this. I will make sure to never tell a soul.
A light, not a light, a deep, booming chuckle emanates from the center of his chest, kind of filling the cave as it echoes.
A little bit of dust falls from the ceiling as a little bit of rocks break off.
Barden is a little bit skittish being directly beneath Bitter Trunk at the moment.
Do not worry. While you shall not take from the forest, none of you could get past me to harm them, nor could anyone you bring. Tell who you wish. Albeit, druids would be higher on my list of goodwill.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
He looks towards Golden, your character, again. It is clear that you have a connection with the roots, the branches, and the boughs. Do you hear them? As he gestures towards his saplings.
I hear something. I do not quite understand them.
Go. As he shorter gestures towards them.
He takes a step forward.
They are young. They do not have manners yet.
They sway gently in the slight breeze that makes its way down.
One day, when I am a pile of rocks in the ground, they will be the guardians. They are each my pride and joy, the reason I protect. I wonder, what is your reason, unnamed one?
I do not know. I feel as though it is missing.
He kind of gets down closer to the ground, almost sitting down at this point, but basically still looks like he's enrooted. He takes a deep breath and sighs. When I first came to the forest, I myself did not have much reason. Many, many years passed. In the past. The forest, the land was different. This place changes so rapidly. So much so that it is beside me. It is a swamp now, isn't it? Or
Is it?
Uh,
hmm,
as far as you guys or anyone who has ever heard from the kingdoms or the empire, it's never been a swamp. It is something that is a sign of the age between the experience and now.
no. Yes. It is hard to remember the details. Your common classifications of what we protect. Takes a deep breath, breathes out again. Regardless, when I was first here, I did not have direction. All there was my existence to protect the land, but I was unsure what it meant. Why do we protect? I must. I know it to be so. I feel it to be so. But why? Only recently have I found my why. Do what it is that feels right to you. The why will come. Just as they did, as he gestures again towards the saplings.
I think I'm starting to understand.
How long have you walked this world, unnamed one?
I do not know. I feel as though I only woke up today.
Then you are not even yet a flower blooming upon a bough. You have much time to blossom, to seed, to sprout, to grow. You are much like us. If you wish, as he takes another deep breath in, you may stay and flower under my care.
I am not yet sure what it is I want to do, or what it is I should do.
And what I offer you is a place to find that out. I am no captor. I am a father who sees a child who is lost.
I see.
He creaks as he turns, looking directly at his saplings, just sitting and giving off almost what sounds like a sigh. For now, he does not continue speaking, though.
The nameless one looks to Barton and Tefrid. Where was it that you said you were from?
The great city.
What is a city?
Is he speaking common yet, or
Nope.
is Tefert still the only one who can understand him?
Man, this has been a crazy hour.
You still got a good 30 minutes left on it.
This has been a
Crazy 30
crazy
minutes.
30 minutes. So a city. So our bitter trunk of mithril here called us two-leggers, where there's a whole lot of us in all sorts of shapes and sizes. But we don't have a lot of protections for ourselves. That's why we ran from things like Basilisk. But we do have each other. There's safety in numbers. So we come together, and sometimes a lot of us come together. And when that we come together in the thousands and the thousands and the thousands, we make something beautiful, a city full of different culture and food. I'm gonna pull out the bread again. Maybe you'll try this one day. And different ideas. And there's some bad things in there too. Some people aren't so nice. That's why Bitter Trunk of Mithril didn't trust us at first, but it's a community. It's a whole bunch of homes all squashed together.
You make it sound interesting.
Oh, they're so interesting. There's one of the things that's why I study the old ones, because not all cities last forever. Well, nothing lasts forever. So sometimes out in the wilds, you can find these old cities that people don't live in anymore because maybe they all got sick or they all had to leave, or maybe there's a bunch of basilisks outside. Who knows? But that's still a story out there, and if I can find that story, I can share it with my friends, my community, my city.
I see.
And then the story stays alive. And the city lives again just for a little bit.
Another nice thing about cities is that they're a place for things and knowledge to change hands. I mentioned earlier that I get things for people. I get bits of information. Well, those things and that information change hands, which makes everyone a little bit better off.
It's all about working together for a wider community. Everyone's got, well, we said earlier, a job, and as long as everyone does their job, things run as smooth as they can. I'm sorry, Bitter Trunk, if any of that offended you. Bitter Trunk of Mithril.
You live as you can. I do not understand how you find beauty in such destruction. But it is not my place to judge your sense of beauty. I will, however, protect my lands from such destruction.
As is your right.
Yeah, that's one thing that the druids back there have talked about a few times as well. Finding solutions to keep up with all the people coming to the city so that there isn't destruction. And there's arguments and all that, but looking at places like this, I kind of wonder if they might be on the right track with some of the stuff they proposed. Think Tefrid. Think this place has places like this have potential. Just looking at the way that this cave was built.
Are you kidding? This is wonderful. This is incredible. I call it ancient, but I mean, it is, but it's still so young.
Do cities bring destruction?
They can.
By
Why?
their very nature, they do. Even if the people within do not wish it, there must be a place for them to live, things for them to take.
Yeah.
The trees fall, the earth is stripped, the land becomes changed, destroyed in ways that these lands are not used to.
In order to build a city, we need to use the environment, the natural resources to build. Like that structure behind us that you saw when you first reappeared, friend. That was made out of stone. Someone had to get that stone from somewhere and then put it out in the world. A lot of times those structures are made out of wood, which means we need to cut trees. And in order to grow our food, we need to change how the plants grow so they grow more food. So we can feed all the people who live in the city.
Why do the people not live in the forests?
They're dangerous. We, some animals get claws, some of them get teeth, some of them get poison. We got our brains, and our brains make things. And unfortunately, we make things out of nature. But if we want to have a big community like a big city, Owen Forest doesn't sustain that all that well. We'd have to use up the resources. So they'd have to use up the resources somehow. It's like
I do not understand why.
Well, maybe it's kind of hard to understand from an outside perspective. And maybe I shouldn't try to explain it. I feel like, I don't know, I'm gonna look between Friend and Bitter Trunk of Mithril. I feel like you might have more kindred spirits out here than you do in there.
Are you not outsiders to the forest as well?
I mean, I've been in a forest a couple times, like when I was a kid and now again, but no, I can't really say I would probably define myself as an outsider. Yeah, I've been translating this whole conversation for Barton's aid, just so we're all clear.
You probably got about 15, maybe 12 minutes now.
All right, friends, we might have to really teach you how to speak common really quickly.
That is not happening.
That's probably all right. We got 15 minutes. It's like studying for a Spanish test. It will not help.
Well, at least
You can teach him the
understand
word for
common.
help. Well,
All
actually,
right.
no, that's a good point. He already knows the words for help. He already understands it.
Yeah, just kind of hard for him to speak it because rock.
Rook.
All right. So, friend, bitter chunk of mithril. In order for me to understand at least our friend here, I had to cast a spell. At some point, that's going to run out, and I won't be able to understand friend anymore. So if we're still having a conversation, could you help us out? You seem to understand him.
I dislike common, but I will give you. As he takes a deep breath in. A translation.
You are very kind. What language are the two of you speaking, if I could ask?
It is primordial.
It is not language to me. It is the expression of my intent. Common requires you force out something. I speak simply by existing. My intent is given to those who understand.
That's fascinating. I've never heard of anything like that before.
It is why common is so unpleasant.
Can Barton understand bitter chunk of mithril right now?
I think so. Bitter Trunk, have you been speaking common?
When he's speaking specifically to only the unnamed one, he
Got it. Okay.
speaks
Yep.
in primordial, but when he turns to speak to the the not like them, he does speak common.
Halflings.
Yeah.
The halflings parentheses derogatory.
Are you sure you're not orcs?
I hope not. That would be news to me.
Bad for self-image. You got about 8 minutes.
Okay. Friend, it's the bounties of nature have allotted people like us certain comforts that a lot of people would be loath to give up.
I do not understand.
No, I guess you wouldn't. The safety of walls like this cave, the warmth of a fire, the ability to cook a whole meal, talk with friends in a marketplace, it's something that you kind of have to experience. Learning from books in a library, it's all very foreign to beings of the forest. I think you guys learn in very different ways than we do. And that's okay.
I think, for the time being, I will stay by the ruins. But one day, I may visit the city.
That would be lovely. Oh, Bart, I forgot about the other bad part about cities. Maybe. So, what if me or Barton, I'm going to sign you up for this, come out into the woods every now and again to check on you, and we could take you back to the city so you both know the way, and so the people there don't get suspicious, because one thing that it's unfortunate about us. Not everyone is as open-minded as we are when it comes to new friends.
You got about
might-
6 minutes.
Oh dear. Hold on. You might want to be careful. Sometimes people attack and strike out at things they don't quite understand instead of trying to understand it, which is unfortunate because understanding things is the best part about life. But,
He gives you the look that tells you he's thinking.
His face forms a buffering symbol.
it does the little glowy point spin.
Do not worry about coming to check on me. I will
What?
come to the city when I'm ready.
Oh, it's not just to check if you're ready, but also to just check up on how you are. I mean, do we call you friend? You're our friend now.
Why do you call me that?
You buried that bird. That was nice. You're kind. And, that's rare. Not everybody's kind. And you're new. And that's so cool. New is the coolest thing you can be.
Bitter Trunk kind of shifts his body and looks down at the halfling speaking. You do not speak in the way I do, and yet you wield common in the way that I would my own. Your intent is read through every word, your feelings made real. The druids are lucky to have one as you.
That might be the magic. I don't know how much longer that'll last.
That magic's only one way. It's so you can understand them, not the other way around.
Oh! Well, thank you, Bitter Trunk of Mithril. That's very kind of you. Can I call you friend too?
Your intent is read clear. You may call me friend. For now.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We have yet to see what fruit your visit will bear, be it sour or sweet.
Of note of fruit, one of the few things that trees are okay, they do tend to be okay with things taking from trees, are fruits or other such things. As such, you do have a small garden on the right side of it, where you do have a few different trees and bushes growing that you tend to normally give to animals, but it might be a suitable occasion to offer to one or more of your guests.
A sign of goodwill, as he sort of almost backs up against the wall and gestures to the opposite end of the cave. You may take what you like.
Oh.
Just be sure to spread the seeds.
Oh, of course. That sounds very reasonable. What kind of fruits do you have?
There is a
He walks you over
surprisingly
and
large.
begins gesturing out to the whole bunch of different types of them.
Wrong token.
Long token.
For the surrounding area, there is a surprisingly large variety of different fruits and like edible plant variants. Like he cultivates it. He finds plants that might be rarer or like less common to the area and cultivates the seeds.
Huh.
It's not like, everything you've ever seen, but like it's definitely more than you would expect for like one forest.
Yeah, it's For someone who's only had like an apple orchard nearby, it's like, oh wow, that's like everything. I will grab the funkiest piece of fruit that I can find. Funky meaning like weird, not weird smelling.
I guess that would probably be raspberries for somebody who's never seen them, right? Like something similar to raspberries or gooseberries, where they're clusters of berries all in one form.
All right.
You end up taking one of the tiny little raspberry-esque fruits and nibble around it a little. It tastes absolutely wonderful.
Wow, that's incredible. These grow around here?
Occasionally.
Hmm.
And hopefully, when you are finished, they will more.
All right, I think I got the seeds out.
Well, each of the three of you have been over admiring the different fruits and the different craftsman work. Barton's been investigating a few of the other plants. He's gotten slightly closer to the saplings and is looking at them and completely contemplating them. He gently ends up touching his hand to the leaves of one of the golden sapling, and he thinks to himself, wow, those leaves are much heavier than I would have thought. And I mean, there's a good few thousand there. Surely there's no way that they notice if just one of those leaves went missing, right? I mean, that would go for a bit, and then peeks around the corner to make sure that all of you are looking the other way before he plucks a single leaf from the sapling.
He immediately stands up, like fully straight, the fastest you've seen this treant move ever, and turns around.
Oh my god.
His footsteps are shaking the cave as he moves towards his saplings
Is everything okay?
and blocks the way out.
Missy jumps out of the way.
Mithril trunk. Sorry, bitter trunk of mithril. Is Basilisk out there or something? Are you okay?
You.
What?
You were. He's not looking or talking to you. He is completely ignoring you at this point.
Oh, okay.
You say you are here by druids, and then you take. Not only do you take, you lie.
Bardom?
He is standing, completely blocking the way out,
He's
like watching.
He's cowering somewhat underneath you. His body is trembling. His mouth stutters a little as he's looking up, starting to form sentences. He's already cleanly tucked the leaf that he's had deep within some of his pockets as he just looks up and is starting to almost deny the statement.
He's also kind of side-eyeing, seeing if there's any way that he could get through, even with a little bit of his magic. But
He thinks he'd be able to duck through and potentially get around, but he'd have to either find a way through the door or end up mantling up this area, trying to climb up about 12 feet here to get to the upper area from the saplings cove.
Well, no explanations are going to make it better. And I don't suppose I can make things any better with some of my magic? No?
You will return what you have taken.
Shit. Fine. Fine.
And then you will be made an example.
What? Oh. Barton tosses the leaf one way and tries to duck through using Zephyr Strike to go faster.
He zoops around
He
the
is not
corner.
in any hurry right now because the door is sealed.
He moves up to the door
Shit.
entrance and starts using some of the tools he has to sort of start trying to pry the door open, or like make even just a small way for him to make his way through. And at one point he's starting to make enough progress such that he's able to start crawling through, and he almost makes it out, and the roots tighten around him, catching him at the waist such that he's stuck.
Oh no. Oh no.
You cannot run. These forests are mine for miles. As he reaches forward and grabs with his enormous hand the lower half of his body. You are fragile. It is a shame. As he pulls on the lower half of the body as the vines are not loosening.
Ugh.
Until eventually...
I'm sure we can skip past the details of that
Yeah.
because we all know what's happening.
Uh-huh.
I
Importantly,
guess this is the first quarterling.
That is true. It is a quarterling now. Wonderful. Some new nutrients for the soil at the front of the cave.
Indeed. he comes back about 2 minutes later. Less than 2 minutes. No, it would have been like 30 seconds. Turns around, moves forward. The entrance
Missy
is
moves
still
over
sealed.
next to the unnamed one.
He returns to his golden sapling and gets very close to it and tries to find the leaf, but is not really dexterous enough to get hold of it alone. My poor child.
Oh no. He's dead, right? Just to be very clear.
No.
That's
Oh.
worse.
No.
far
Yeah,
worse.
yes. Sorry, I thought sure he was the sapling. No, yeah, Mr.
No,
Quarterling
no.
is dead.
No. Yeah. Very dead.
Yes.
Dead. Like capital D, dead.
He's probably not dead for about a second, and then he's dead.
That's worse.
I mean, that sort of thing wouldn't be instant, but it would be damn near.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'm going to stand paralyzed in fear with a mouth half full of raspberries. Which are all of a sudden tasting a lot worse.
Mithra will be like, I'm not a captor, meanwhile.
As he is kind of sitting, almost mourning the single leaf that was plucked from his sapling.
He moves his very large fingers as they thump against the grassy, mossy ground here as he just pushes the single gold leaf around as he is unable to grab it to attempt to do anything with it. His hand's far too large.
Yeah. I'm kind of just taking in the entire scene that just unfolded for a minute or two. Not like saying anything, no expression change, just like thinking. And then eventually he notices Bitter Trunk trying to pick up the leaf. At first, it's hard to actually use his fingers since he just got them. But eventually he manages to pick it up as carefully as he can.
Chad?
Mm-hmm.
He's picked up.
He watches as he picks it up, and sighs. I let my young one be harmed right under my bows.
Is there anything we can do?
Nothing anymore. Unless... And he sort of looks. You said you mended a branch. It is the peak of selfishness for me to ask you.
Of note, he's not the one who said he mended a branch. The others said he mended a branch.
Yeah, the others said you mended a branch, so on and so forth.
Do not remember doing that.
You were like us. If they saw you do so, it might be so. I beg you to help my child.
I will try. And he kneels down and doesn't quite know where to go from there.
He ends up taking a few seconds, being very gentle, making sure to place the leaf nearby on the twig that it was plucked from, trying to ask it kindly to take it back, trying to imagine what using magic would be like, and all of it to no avail until about 8 or 9 minutes have passed, and you both have determined that no action can be taken to mend the plant.
I am sorry. I could not do more.
You were not the one who committed the crime. As he takes a sigh. You said you would stay. As he sort of looks over his shoulder to the, I assume, still petrified? Not literally, but like still like petrified other halfling.
Might as well be hit by the basilisk.
Me escaping petrification just to be petrified.
Uh-huh. Please don't hurt me.
As you look back around the corner, you see that there is no evidence of any blood or viscera or body at the entrance of the cave.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
You have no reason to fear. You commit no crimes, and my words to you remain true. However, I amend a statement. My naivete caused the harm of my child. You will not tell any of this place.
To be perfectly honest with you, bitter trunk of mithril, I had no intentions of doing that. I saw the one made of gold and thought, wow, that seems a little too tempting even for the druids. maybe I was right.
You humans value gold so oddly. It makes me fear what they would do if they understood me.
Why?
I'm gonna not ask a follow-up to that one.
He looks down. I am comprised of a metal named mithril. One I understand to be incredibly valuable.
Very, yes. It's incredibly useful for weapons and armor. It's very lightweight and durable. It does not rust.
Why did he take the leaf? Is what I meant.
For the reason I did not trust any to begin. Every time one of them is near, something is taken. Not all of them take, but enough do.
Gold is a valuable mineral to the civilizations. It is commonly used as a currency, and please let me know if I'm talking about ass. It is highly enchantable and takes mound magic quite well. So it is very useful to the enchanters of the world. And in addition to being used as our primary form of exchange, you asked what jobs did earlier. You get gold or silver or copper to do your job in our societies.
There will be much time for you to learn. Like I said, I am no captor. As the roots on the doorway slowly start to open.
I trust that. He was my friend.
He needed to be made an example.
Yep.
I'm sorry for your loss.
And what about Millie? Is it Millie or Missy?
Missy.
Missy.
Missy. Okay.
Missy
What about,
has kind of been walking around sniffing, trying to find where he is. It doesn't even smell like him anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
This soul has committed no crime.
Wasn't the question.
I do not understand then.
Do you want me to take Missy back with me, or are you gonna keep Missy with a friend?
The animal may do as it wishes.
I don't speak dog.
Then let it decide on its own.
Okay.
I would not recommend leaving yet. The basilisks are still near, and
Understood.
while not actively hunting you, you might still run into them. And he turns back.
That definitely seems like the second worst thing that could happen to me today.
Unnamed one. If you are to stay under my care, then you will not stay unnamed forever. I have no right to name you, but I do wish to give you the privilege that I give one of my children, as he gestures towards the normal sapling. Those of us who are not sprouted, as I or the other two are, do not have the surname of the metal. However, I still wish to instill upon this one my own. So, whatever you decide your name to be, you will be of Mithril.
I understand.
You are welcome to come and go as you please. I will treat you as one of my saplings. And you, as he turns back to the halfling, will not come back.
I will not return. Can I visit friend?
When the time comes, if it is so he wishes, I will take him, and he will visit you, friend.
Okay. 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 I understand.
And he turns back to the unnamed one once for a final time. While you are with me, I ask that we keep trying to mend my child. There cannot be anything done now. But if what was reported was true, and you do have a connection, then it may be in your interest to nurture it, and in my interest, and his interest, as he gestures towards the golden sapling, to use it.
I will do what I can, as little as it may be.
He nods. I will answer any questions you have about the world. But for now, as he sort of moves towards the center of the room, I will rest as he roots himself and becomes a elegant tree in the middle of a lush cavern.
The
How do I go
tiniest
in?
bit of sunlight shines down through the canopy. Friend and, the unnamed. The name this one, that's the one that I really liked. The name this one and Hefford end up talking to each other a little bit. You can. Do you want that to be part of character?
It can be.
Okay, go
Yeah.
for it.
So I guess this is gonna be goodbye once the basilisks are gone, huh?
It
Do you know what
would
that word
seem
means?
like it,
Uh,
but it does not have to be goodbye forever.
I certainly hope not. Despite what just happened, I have you're a really interesting fellow right there. Got a lot of interesting stuff going on in your life. And I really would like the chance to speak with you again, preferably alone. He scares all sorts of things out of me.
I do not understand why.
You've only been around for however around you were before, but then, about an hour. So I got about a couple minutes left on this, I think.
Oh, it ran out. It ran out. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So we cannot have a conversation then.
You can have a slow one.
Okay.
I guess that's a fair point.
Yeah. So what was the point I was making? I had known Barton for quite a number of years, actually. He was my friend from when I was a kid, and he was the first person I made a connection with when I came back, and now he's gone. Like the bird is gone. And it was his. It was kind of his fault, but that was a lot. That was very extreme. I can't imagine what saplings must mean to our sleeping friend here. I hope he cannot hear me. But I don't get to see him anymore. Ever.
I am sorry. You had to see that.
Please know this will not change my interest in you or my desire to be your friend, but are you sorry that it happened?
I do not know.
Well,
He
sorry.
did what I would believe to be unthinkable.
Same here. But without him, you wouldn't be walking around right now. So couldn't have done it without
Then
him.
perhaps he has served his purpose in life.
So you do understand purpose now.
I do.
Fascinating. That's just fascinating. I'll tell you what, friend. I'm gonna try to figure out what that building was, what those stones were, and hopefully by the next time I see you, maybe you'll know a bit more about you, and maybe I will. And then we can remember the very, very brave halfling and the very, very bold halfling who died on the day you were born. Those ruins are not normal. Not to me, anyway.
What is being normal?
You know, friend, I don't know if anyone can answer that question. I really don't. And anyone who can tell you that they can answer that question is probably a liar.
I will remember that.
Since y'all have been struggling to properly communicate through all this, it ends up taking a good little bit of time. Do you mind if we push a little forward?
Go for it.
Yeah.
About 2 hours end up passing, and eventually Mithril ends up giving you the go-ahead for you to be able to clear your way. He opens up the pathway, tells you that they have gone a far distance away and that the woods are generally clear for a good long while of anything that would do you harm. Before you actually have your scene of heading off, he tells you that you could potentially return to the ruins. You could go back. It matters not to him. You may now go ahead and close out this scene.
Farewell. Hold on. Missy. Hey, Missy.
Missy perks up and starts following you.
Oh, Okay, you're following. That's okay. Come on, Missy. We're going home. We're going home. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Okay, well, I guess this is goodbye for now, friend, and goodbye forever, Mithril, I presume. Bitter bark of Mithril. Bitter trunk of Mithril.
He does not respond. He
Understood.
is back to a tree. He is.
Gonna assume that's goodbye forever. For my health and safety, I hope that's goodbye forever. Goodbye for now, friend. I hope you can figure out what you want to be.
I hope to.
This is gonna be one hell of a thing to explain to those druids. Okay. And I will head back to the city.
Will you be checking by the ruins first, or just straight to the city?
Yes, I will check by the ruins first, actually. I want to see if anything has changed since
Gotcha.
my time is gone.
Nothing has changed, but you are able to, without the pressure of basilisks, take a look at some of the stuff somewhat nearby, and you end up finding two things that are ever so slightly like underneath the surface, since a lot of the dirt is much shallower, and you find two pieces of stuff that have been added to the group inventories.
Where would I access the group inventory? Oh, there we go. Strange necklace, slightly warm to the touch. Its origin. Okay. And leaf quill, small. Even on it smells of young seed.
That is essentially the first half of spring.
Thank you. I was concerned when I read young seed.
Okay, fair enough. Is there anything else the party would like to do?
Anybody?
I think that wraps it for my character, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to
BBQ, does your
continue
character want to do anything?
You have one action available to you. Feed plant.
Fertilize.
This is a forced automatic action. Anyway, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. I think that was a very productive session.
Thank you all for having me. That was
Absolutely.
such a wonderful story. What a
was
neat
really
idea.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry I kind of went nonverbal in the second half of it. I am just really tired tonight all of a sudden.
It's all right.
You're good.
We
I
all
think
have
that's
moments.
unacceptable. Anybody who gets tired in the middle of shit is a bish. He says,
How many
knowing
times
that
have you
he's
fallen asleep
been...
at like 6 or 7
Yeah,
p.m.?
yes, he says being the person who is having problems because he falls asleep at 6 in the afternoon.
Mhm.
I'd like to thank you all for being here, and thank you for all the people on the stream and on YouTube. And we will see you later. And I hope to have you all back for the next time. Adios.
Yeah.